Well. You AEW fans get the benefit of the executive consultant not once, but 2 times in a row, as I am here with my man Steph. He doesn't want to be called the administrator, but he's going to be forced to call the administrator because that's what I want. Right here for AEW Dynamite results. Steph, what's going on? How you doing on this Wednesday evening?
I am good. I am dry. There is a tornado here in New York, so if you guys are in the New York area, please stay safe, stay warm, stay dry. We are under tornado warning. And about the administrator moniker, little shaky, boss. Little shaky. But we'll see about it. We'll see about it. Little shaky, boss. Little shaky, boss.
That's what's going down in the DMs, bro. That's what's going down in the DMs.
I don't know whose DMs they're going down in. Must be one of your wives, but not mine. Definitely not mine.
I'm only talking to one right now.
Damn.
I'm only talking to one. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to be doing the job. Hey,
it's a little backstage for y'all.
I was supposed to text her with this game one. Let me so I had to do
little backstage for y'all fans.
Elvis Martinez says, "What a heel turn! What's going on?" The executive asshole. Yes, it is he. Anthony Chabot. Tomorrow's my 38th birthday. Happy birthday to you, because odds are you never watch UPRE, so I can't sit here and tell you happy birthday tomorrow when we do none other than the movie Street Fighter from 1994, starring Raul Julia as well as Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now, welcome to Unpopular Review, ladies and gentlemen. AEW Dynamite tonight. Let's go ahead and review it. I can start off by saying I thought this was a much better episode of AEW Dynamite as opposed to last week, which I thought was a little bit lackluster stuff. Tell me your thoughts. Are you excited going into the all-out pay-per-view coming up this Sunday?
I'm excited going into All Out. I'm not excited about that $60 charge. I feel like that's a huge charge still to pay.
If you do not want to pay the charge, you can go hang out with our friends if you're in the New York area with our boys and girls at Jack Dempsey in New York, as they are having a all-out viewing party.
That was a wonderful segue. I enjoy the plug. Enjoy to love it so much. That's why you're the executive consultant.
We always got to shout out our friends at Yep, I Like Wrestling.
And he took a shot as soon as he did that. That was right before he did it. He knew, I'm just gonna plug Yep right now. But yes, if you're in the New York area, please join Yep for their viewing party on Sunday for All Out. It is going to be amazing. The food there is great. The people there are, but you'll have a good time.
Great. Let's go ahead and talk about it. AEW Dynamite starts off with none other than a banger match of Santina and Ortiz versus FTR, better known for most people as The Revival. This match was pretty good. Can't say I'm upset about it. The result is Santina Ortiz with the victory. I think Santina Ortiz have a future. Possibly are the ones that are going to take those tag team titles off of the Young Sucks. Can't wait to see it, but this is a good match. However, the story of it is, as far as I'm concerned, is FTR. Yeah, I'm going to be a hater. FTR whined and cried. Where are my box of tissues? I don't have them. FTR whined and cried, talking about how much they were held down in WWE, but they were on TV every single week. Former 3-time World Tag Team Champions, not including their NXT run. They're taking L's over in AEW. Steph, what are your thoughts when it comes to FTR?
There's a lot of rumors surrounding The Revival at this point, or FTR rather. A lot of rumors of injuries plaguing them. Also, that they may be retiring. This may have been a retiring match. Their last and final hurrah. So that's the big story coming out. There's another story coming out of this match that it might be their final match as a tag team. And I feel like for what the match needed to do, it did an amazing job. These 4 are completely amazing no matter what company they're in. But I do agree with Chris. I know it is Christmas in the summer, and we are literally in a time frame where we're seeing Santana and Ortiz's star rise, and FTR, who wind their way out of WWE, get into a company and be jobbed out sort of the same way they were jobbed out in WWE, though they were on every week in WWE. So I don't know where we're going. I don't know where we're going with FTR. I don't know if they're retiring. I don't know if they're staying. I don't know what the next step for them is. I don't know if they're going to New Japan, which I feel like is a very good plan. Get yourself to the West or the East. Just go, build yourselves back up and then come back and tear a hole through AEW's roster, win those tag team titles again, or go back to WWE. But do something and stop crying. That's where I'm at right now.
The one thing I want to say about FTR is I think they're a phenomenal tag team. I think they're a great tag team. I think when it comes to being in-ring technicians, there are very few tag teams better than them. However, what they need to understand at the end of the day, they're not entertaining. They're not. That's just how it is. Once the bell rings, they can put on a match. When the bell ends, are you caring about FTR? Are you caring about the Revival? No, because after Revival, I don't want to curse because somebody told me I curse too much, but
fuck the Revival. I'll do it for you. There you go. There you go. There goes the
day. Go ahead and catch up on some of these comments. Stuff. What do you say? Elvis Martinez says, Elvis, be very careful because I will stop highlighting your comments. Elvis Martinez says there's a free streaming website. Ronald Jackson says, hey, yo, what's going on, bad guy? Gerard Ora from joining us from YouTube says, take Conti or Leo Hirsch is winning the casino. That's a possibility.
I want to see either one.
Elvis Martinez says, we want bad guy Jack. Well, we know you do because we know you like, men, which is there's nothing wrong with that. Gerard Orla says, the Bayface is winning the Casino Battle Royal. Unpopular Review says, happy early birthday. Gerard Orla from YouTube says, Lucha Brothers have to win those titles. I agree. Lucha Brothers are my favorite tag team, and we'll talk about them later for the main event segment. But they're not going to win. Gerardo Orla also says Steph B, Reroll, FTR are not going back to WWE.
Jared, I feel like it's going okay. Every tag team, there's a saying in WWE, and it's something that Vince says, and it's something that a lot of the company men over there say: never say never. So, like, expect the unexpected. You know what I mean? CM Punk himself said, "I am never getting in a wrestling ring again." He just didn't get in a WWE wrestling ring, but he will be wrestling this Sunday night at All Out. So never say never. You never know. Contracts, they can present FTR with a huge, big money contract.
Now, realistically speaking, and I apologize for interrupting you, but realistically speaking, you're WWE, you're Vince McMahon. Would you offer FTR a contract when their contract's up?
I think in terms of if you go and you really make yourself and you come back and you're a very hot commodity,
the way they are now, if they left.
Not the way they are now. That's what I'm saying.
That's my question.
Right?
That's my question.
All right.
If they are the way they are now, if they left, would you offer the rival contract?
Hell, freaking no. I would not offer them a contract.
Not a big money.
Exactly. I think you have to go to Impact, go to New Japan, go to ROH.
You know how I offer the FTR a contract if I was them? If I was WWE, if I was just a man, you know how I'll offer him? Bet you don't know. Okay, I'll tell you. Join my club. What club? Kiss My Ass Club. That's what I'll join. So next segment we're going to talk about is none other than CM Punk. He came into the ring, but he was in the ring. He had a promo because that's what he does. You know what I'm saying? You got to be in the ring. He has to bite off where they can chew. Where were they out tonight? They were in Chicago. How are they in Chicago again? Somebody tell me. They love Chicago now, right?
Because he can sell out an arena, and they're pandering to the Chicago fans who sold out his T-shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com. Yes, you Chicago marks bought out all of CM Punk's T-shirts in one night. Congratulations, great job.
Can CM Punk sell out arena that's not in Chicago?
No.
Ooh.
No. I'm sorry. Absolutely fucking not. Ooh. And I'm not hating on CM Punk. I am a huge CM Punk fan. I am a huge, probably one of the biggest CM Punk fans ever. But to sell out an arena in Chicago is a lot easier for CM Punk than coming to New York, where people have seen your ass get knocked out by Mickey Gall, sorry, pardon me. And you left wrestling for 7 years. We're hardcore fans down here in New York. So you're coming to New York, we'll be excited to see you, but you're not selling out a freaking arena here in New York. Absolutely freaking not.
I thought
Brock Lesnar, on the other hand, selling out an arena. Becky Lynch, maybe. It's arguable. Roman Reigns, our reigns-in defending tribal chief, most definitely.
Reigns-in defending undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns. I'll talk more about him during the Kenny Omega segment. Bottom line, let's get down to the chase. CM Punk in the ring hits a GTS on some jabronis. I can't remember their names right now. Darby Allin hits his casket or coffin drop, and the Death Valley drop from Sting on a jabroni. I can't remember these people. Let me, whatever. Danny Garcia 2.0. But, it was a good segment, needed to do what it needed to do. That was put CM Punk in a physical situation, trying to sell the pay-per-view a little bit more and actually have a face-to-face with Darby Allin. But you know what? Screw Darby Allin. I think he's a star in AEW. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of his. But the legends in the ring were CM Punk and Sting. And that's the story, in my opinion. Steph, your thoughts?
Definitely the story coming out of this, because even Sting addressed it. He said, I've wanted to share a ring with you for a while. At All Out, I'm not going to be in Darby's corner. You guys are going to tear the freaking house down. And I feel like it was like one of those moments where he's like, I got next. You know what I mean? And you're setting the seeds for CM Punk's next match or a match down the line. Sting can still go. Sting at his age can still go in the ring, can still take bumps, moderate bumps. But I think that CM Punk, obviously, with all the training he's putting into his comeback, will be safe enough hands for Sting to have a really entertaining match, even if it's something of a cinematic type. You know,
I will say this, and I'll agree with you on this. I think Sting can still go for a man. His age is still actually really impressive. You can tell he's not the way he used to be. And he's 60-something years old, 60+ years old. He doesn't have to be.
He doesn't.
But for his age, yes, I agree he can still go. I don't think he should be in the ring that often. It's just the thought of them staring each other down the ring is enough for me. But if they do it, hey, they do it. And the funny thing about it is if they do it, and let's say they do it on a Dynamite, ratings.
I think if CM Punk beats Darby, I feel like if CM Punk beats Darby, it's going to be like kind of the father coming to his son's defense. You know, obviously, Darby could take an L at this point. He's a big enough star in AEW. It's CM Punk that kind of needs traction at this point. So we already know that we're going towards a CM Punk victory on Sunday. But what's the next move for Sting? Because obviously they're a duo at this point.
Sting and Darby Allin are going to get to Darby's turning heel. And he's going to turn on Sting, and those two are going to feud. Let's go ahead and catch up with some of these comments right here. FTR better than Lucha Bros. This is just some trolling. That's a lie.
That's a lie.
I'm going to give you 3 strikes per episode. I'm giving you 3 strikes
per episode. He already has 3. Why are we giving him any more than he's already had?
You know what? I'm an asshole, but I'm a good dude. Elvis says strike 1. That's stupid-ass comment. Jared Orla says, Steph, do you think Adam Cole's going to be in the main roster? That's question 2.
Main roster of what company? Like, he has not signed with WWE. He is not signed with AEW. He's not signed with either company yet, so I can't really answer that question. If he's in WWE, Vince wants to go to the main roster badly. If he goes to AEW, which is the most likely scenario to be with his fiance and also his friends, then I see he's going to have a major problem because look how many people are in the title picture right now and look how many stars are coming into AEW. So he's going to run into that problem. So no matter where he goes, he's going to have a bit of a ascendancy problem in terms of the main caliber superstars that are there. So even if he goes to AEW, don't expect him to be thrusted right into the world title picture. Absolutely fucking not. Even if he comes to the main roster of WWE, he's going to be a mid-card talent for a little bit before he hits that crescendo and hits the world championship scene, which obviously Vince and the boys them want to give him if he stays with WWE.
I can't say I disagree with you at all. Chicago fans tonight were quiet. I disagree. I thought they were pretty good, but if you compare them to most Chicago, because I think Chicago is the hottest city when it comes to fans' reactions. Don't get me wrong. I think it is. And tonight they were a little lower compared to most nights, but I mean they have so many shows coming.
Chris, Chicago's fucking tired. Chicago's fucking tired.
Rampage. They had Rampage a couple weeks ago, right? They had Raw a couple weeks ago, right? They got Rampage again on Friday for some reason, and then they have the All Out pay-per-view. You know, like
Chicago is freaking exhausted, and it's CM Punk is at fault for it. You know what I mean? Since CM Punk comes back, I'm sorry. When CM Punk first came back, I'm not going to shit on CM Punk's return because I marked out, cried. If you guys watch UPR SmackDown, you know that I was out of my voice was gone. I'm super excited he's back, but he started this trend of the fans over chanting. And now they're tired. They need a break before Sunday. So today was their freaking rest day. They took a rest today. They're like, we're going to give a moderate reaction so that on Sunday, we're freaking through the roof. So that's
you can be the biggest fan and still be tired. And I'll say that because I experienced that. I went to Orlando. I live in Orlando now, but I didn't live in Orlando then. But I went to WrestleMania Orlando, WrestleMania 33. And I came here and I went to WrestleMania. I went to Raw. And I went to WrestleMania, Raw, and SmackDown. It was 3 wrestling shows in a row. And after SmackDown, I was tired as hell. And I didn't make the Hall of Fame like I wanted to. I didn't make NXT TakeOver like I wanted to. It gets exhausting after a while. WrestleMania 2 nights in a row earlier this year when I went. It was exhausting as hell. And they had the big news, and we'll talk about it a little later. WrestleMania is going to be 2 nights next year. I'm not sure I was going to Dallas to begin with. Now you give me 2 nights. I'm one of those fans that think WrestleMania should be 2 nights. I'm one of those fans that think WrestleMania should be 1 night. Give me 1 night and I'm done. 2 nights is too much for me, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about the next segment on AEW Dynamite. Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans. Orange Cassidy picks up the victory during a commercial break, picture-in-picture. A lot of people complain about this. Why would you do it during a commercial break? I actually like when people do wrestling companies do this because WWE's done this about 2 or 3 times. I count one hand how many times, but they've done that. Because it makes you want to sit here and say, something happened during a commercial, I need to stick my ass here and watch. But Orange Cassidy wins. Orange Cassidy, Jack Evans. What are your thoughts on these two gentlemen?
Orange Cassidy definitely a star. Even when he was in the main title picture, versing off against Kenny Omega, like you see his stardom and his star is constantly rising. He could take a loss, he could take a major defeat, but he's such a really great babyface, and the fan reaction to him is just completely through the roof. That I think that he is a contender for maybe the next, I would say TNT champion, or even better, you could put him in the title picture again. And he does a very great job with his spots. He's amazing. So this match would have had to do getting Orange more over than he already was. Jack Evans obviously did a good job as well. So take nothing away from these two. Very great professional wrestlers and very great professional wrestling match.
Orange Cassidy is one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW. I absolutely adore Orange Cassidy. I think his gimmick is so much fun, so much gold. My problem with Orange Cassidy is, realistically speaking, he's not a main eventer to me. Now, I did like him in the main event a couple months ago. He had a match with Kenny Omega, and I think it was Pac in the Triple Threat. Fire match, don't get me wrong. But WWE, I'm a WWE guy. I'm not going to lie. I'm a WWE guy. You know, people think I hate AEW, and I don't hate them. I like AEW, actually. But WWE is the beginning of infamy. So I have to look at the greatest world champion in wrestling today. That's Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, and then look across and you see Orange Cassidy. Or let's say Roman Reigns also Brock Lesnar. You look across, you see Orange Cassidy.
But the same argument can be made about Kenny Omega if you're making that argument, because Kenny Omega.
People could compare to Kenny Omega.
They're comparable, but obviously at this point, Kenny Omega's career was made in New Japan. He came here to the States, and most people have said that his career here is lackluster.
But so was AJ Styles.
Exactly.
So
but hold on. AJ wasn't completely made in New Japan. Kenny is a pure product of New Japan and that system over there. So if we're comparing Roman Reigns to Kenny Omega's character has been watered down. This gimmick that he has with this whole belt collector gimmick he has and kind of it falls flat with me at times. So I feel like even in terms of being over completely, Orange is more over than him. And I'm a huge Kenny Omega fan. One of my best friends in the world. He's a huge Kenny Omega fan as well.
You're friends with Kenny Omega?
Huh? Oh, no. My friend Anthony is like my brother, my best friend Anthony. He's a huge Kenny Omega fan. And we get into this debate all the time. Like if you look over from WWE to AEW, you look at Roman Reigns, you look at Bobby Lashley, then you see Kenny Omega. It doesn't really translate the same. You know what I mean? And your world champion is a representative of your entire company. Now, when Jericho was champion, like that was a thing. When Mox was the champion,
transitioned the world title to the status it is right now, which it is a very strong third world title.
I couldn't completely agree with it being a strong world title. It's still young.
Third world title.
It's good. So what I'll say is
if you rank them all the world titles.
Okay, so number 3. It's a strong third. But in terms of it being super strong, and honestly, I feel like it's a very young title. It has had a very young lineage, obviously, since the company's so young. Let's give it a year or two. You know, will it catch up to WWE? Will the champions match up with WWE?
We'll catch up to WWE.
You know, I think there's a lot of comparisons. So if we're not comparing it, they're doing their thing. It's good. But I would say, looking over across the board, if I'm WWE, I'm looking at the world champion, I'm laughing. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm not worried in the slightest.
If your world champion is Roman Reigns, you can't help but to laugh. He is the head of the table. He is the tribal chief. Hold up real quick. Let me go ahead and read some of this. Yo, this is the popular review. I always will support brothers. Thank you so much. JF from YouTube. Jared Orla says, Steph on popular review. What is the explanation of Gun Club turning on?
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
Executive consultant Stefan, kudos for brothers for covering this every single Wednesday. So much, after AEW Dynamite, you can join us right here for Unpopular Review. We'll talk about it. Hey, babe, I'm surprised you're still awake. But I'm sure you go to sleep now. You probably not even watching this right now, but appreciate you staying up for this, babe. Unpopular Reviews, did you catch NWA Empower last week? No, I did not. I heard it was a fire show, and I'm going to make sure that I check it out. Maybe do a review on that. Stay tuned for that. Thank you so much, Jared. Jared's on fire tonight. He's going to get
Kenny Omega's fetish has ruined the AEW women's division with the Joshi inclusion, which creates a huge disconnect.
I am not familiar with what you're referring to, so if you can, unless Steph knows, could you actually explain in the comments, because I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Let's explain for our executive consultant. Y2J has won
on Sunday. Who do you think is a better heel champion, Kenny Omega or the Tribal Chief?
Roman Reigns.
Don't get me wrong. I think Kenny Omega's done a great job, but Roman Reigns is on a different level. He says in every interview he's on it, and he's completely right. Roman Reigns is on a different level. I said it before. I'll say it again. In my 30 years of watching wrestling, 30 plus, Roman Reigns has had the best world title reign I've ever seen. And I'll argue anybody to that point. The best single world title reign I have ever seen.
What I would say is if you're trying to compare Roman Reigns to Kenny Omega, then let's use Kenny Omega that was putting on bout of the night, bout of the century in New Japan. Let's use that Kenny Omega. Let's not character-wise. His character was so much better in New Japan. I'm going to say Roman Reigns has him every time. But if you're trying to get head
of the table,
here's what I'll say, Chris, because I don't disagree with you.
Tribal chief.
You're going to continue going.
Acknowledge me.
I'm not acknowledging you. I'll acknowledge the talent of the tribal chief.
You will acknowledge me. Pin him, smash him, pin him, stack him, pin him.
Wait, smash him, stack him, and pin him.
Whatever. And they made
you can't say what, and then you're acknowledging the tribal chief.
This man
he might be watching this.
He made a black shirt. He made a black shirt to the head of the table. Then he made a white shirt to the head of the table, and everybody acted like it was brand new. Like come on.
I'm not lying. I really want that shirt. I'm not going to even lie. So if you guys are willing to chip in for that, y'all fans, I love y'all forever. But if you're comparing Roman Reigns to Kenny Omega, you cannot use Kenny Omega of AEW. I'm sorry. He's having the most fun he's had. You can tell he's having fun in the ring now. And he's having fun with the gimmick he's using now. But as far as, because it's his company, obviously. But if you compare him to Kenny Omega, the cleaner Kenny Omega, that character itself, that was taking it to Naito, taking it to Shinsuke Nakamura, taking it to, Hiroshi Tanahashi, taking it to, Kazuchika Okada. You know what I mean? That's the person that could stack up that I'd be like, okay, it's even. This Kenny, not so much. It's lopsided. Very much so. I
completely agree. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us here on Unpopular Review. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, more AEW Dynamite for you. Zach and Soul Steph, stay with us, ladies and gentlemen.
I did this. And a la Ted DiBiase, he calls out Big E, and he tries to buy the Money in the Bank briefcase for Big E. He says it's going to cause you nothing but pain and sorrow. I'm just trying to prevent you from feeling that. And basically telling him, like, I'm the best person to hold the briefcase. And Big E fired back, well, people lose the briefcase when they cash in, like you. And the crowd popped, obviously, for that. And he was like, yeah, like me. And you see what happened to me. I'm just trying to keep you from being broke. And I want you to be as happy as I am. And he made 3 offers to Big E. And at the third offer, Big E's like, hell no. And at the end of the segment, Big E walks up to Happy Corbin and says, if you don't get out of my ring, I'm going to punch the smile right off your face or something to that effect. And Corbin rolls under the bottom rope and fucks off. So, Pat, what did you think about this segment?
I like to find something from both guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on Popular Review, AEW Dynamite Edition. Zach Consulting here, Steph. Please make sure that if you have not done so already, you're watching us. If you're watching us, I don't understand why you have not done it already. Like, love, and share this. Also, make sure you subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Unpopular Review, and our sister channel, UPRE, if you're into movies and TV shows. But let's go ahead and talk about some more Dynamite. Hey, that was a SmackDown edition every Friday, immediately after SmackDown, which is hosted by Steph. And normally a guest every week, but Steph, unfortunately, won't be with us this week. It'll be hosted by Bad Guy Jack and Captain Shakespeare from NXT on Tuesdays, which is immediately after NXT.
Shout out to you guys.
Let's go ahead and talk about it. Next segment is Jim Ross, who was in the ring for the first time, he stated, and since his debut in AEW, his first in-ring segment interview with none other than Chris Jericho. I will admit I was a little bit down on this segment, right? I was a little bit down on this segment because it's like, how many interviews do I need to have with Chris Jericho? I already know what the story is right now, but there's a reason why some people refer to Chris Jericho as the GOAT. There is a reason why some people refer to Chris Jericho as one of the best in the world, and this is why, because he has the ability to draw you in, and that's what he did with this promo, fire promo. Jim Ross didn't even say anything hardly, but I was appreciated to see him in the ring, but he didn't say anything. Fire promo by Chris Jericho, setting up this match this Sunday at All Out between him and MJF. How excited are you for this match that could be Chris Jericho's last?
I will agree about Chris Jericho being a draw. I will agree with him. I will agree with you, Chris, about Chris Jericho being one of the most transitional superstars ever. He is, in my opinion, my generation's Undertaker in terms of transitioning his character and knowing when to pull the trigger on a new character change. And he's had some really great ones in AEW. Now, this feud with MJF has been a career-defining one for Chris Jericho. It's been one that's career-defining for MJF as well. I think that we're in for a fight this Sunday. Anytime you put a career on the line, and I know the inside joke is, all right, you put a career on the line, obviously that person's going away with the W. People, remember, Chris Jericho is going back on the road with Fozzy. So that's a very big hint as to what could possibly happen. He has also said, he's also stated 1,000 times, I'm at the end of my career. I want to transition into commentating. And if you have a spot on Rampage, the way you go out in wrestling is out on your back. You know what I mean? So that's sort of the unspoken rule of wrestling. So if MJF is going to clinch the win, which I think, logically speaking, MJF should pull off the win. It should not be a Jericho winning type of situation. This match should make MJF. There should be, even if it's by shenanigan win, you know what I mean? I feel like that should be a thing. So at this point, I think we're at an impasse. So am I excited for the match? Yes, I'm excited to see what AEW does with the finish. I'm excited to see if Chris Jericho actually does step aside and go to commentating. Not that I'm so hyped over his commentating. I feel like he's a great commentator, but he screams a lot. But yes, I will say this is a match that could possibly define the career of MJF and kind of cement his status as a main tier, top tier heel. Or it could kind of pull him down a little bit and have Jericho go over as the face, who he's the clear face in this match. And we'll all pop and cheer for Jericho. Then he'll fuck off and go to Fozzy concerts and do his Fozzy thing for a while. So it depends on what you want to see. I want to see him lose. Some people want to see him win and get that fan reaction and just get that love from the fans. Even in losing, he would still get that. You know what I mean? He's such a great person. If anytime you come out to the ring and people are singing your theme music, you are over as all freaking hell. And that's what Jericho is.
20 plus years, almost 30 years, Chris Jericho deserves to be over, but he's so good on the mic and he's so invested in AEW. He loves that company. He loves what he's done for his career. He needs to stay there, because I was debating with somebody on this earlier. Is Chris Jericho going back to WWE? Yes, he is, to accept the Hall of Fame, but his investment, his career right now is AEW. That's where he's focused. That's what he likes. And I appreciate that. Now, I always thought he was just a little salty that WWE said, hey, you're doing the Jericho cruise and you want us to use our wrestlers, and we're not. And AEW did. And I think that's the reason why he stayed there. But it is what it is right now. He's invested. He loves the company, and that's where he's staying. But yeah, I do believe he's going to WWE to accept the Hall of Fame induction. But yeah, he's going to end his career at AEW, and I respect that right now. So,
well, I do have a question for you and our wonderful fans. Damon, what's going on, brother? Do you think that we will ever see another Chris Jericho match in WWE? That's a major question. That is a major question. Do you see one more match in WWE? If he comes back for Hall of Fame, usually the Hall of Famer, after coming back and getting inducted, a la Goldberg, a la Shawn Michaels, they do have one more match. Even if you squeeze in the juice out of the lemon, so to speak. You know what I mean?
I will say that he will go in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he'll have wrestled another match. But however, just like you said, never say never. It depends on what WWE is willing to allow. It depends on what AEW is willing to allow. Now, WWE does not respect AEW. I hate to say it like that. WWE does not respect AEW to the point where they might actually care so much. If Chris Jericho's coming for the Hall of Fame, where they say, hey, you're going to wrestle one match and you take an L. If all parties agree, maybe. But I don't know if all parties will agree to that. So, we'll see how it goes.
Match he wants. I feel like if you give him a match he wants, he's talked a lot about Roman Reigns and how amazing Roman Reigns is and how he wants to work with Roman Reigns.
That and send him back to AEW.
mean, I could see that happening, but would you really take an L at that point? Because like Reigns says, he elevates everybody he's in the ring with. And it's not a lie. Sorry, Matt Riddle. It is not a lie. He does elevate everybody.
Chris Jericho.
I will not agree with Matt.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Matt about that yet. But
you need to talk to Matt again.
I didn't agree with that one. But
I read it online. I'm like, oh shit! I can't wait to get on the show and talk shit.
Matt, I love Matt today. He does so much stuff, and I'm like, why do you say some of this stuff on air? Because I'm like, I hope you don't hurt yourself by saying this. Because Roman looks like the type that holds grudges, you know. So I was like, but I mean, whatever. Hey, I love Matt. You know, Matt's my friend. Matt will beat Roman's ass in real life, but it's not real life. This is wrestling, and he has a stroke. No, Matt would.
Okay, look, I love Matt as a fan. I will say from the one time that I met Matt, he's super cool, and he has an MMA background, and many fans do not really think about his mixed martial arts background because his stint in mixed martial arts and UFC as well was very brief. But he is as much of a street fighter as he says he is. Just watch some of his UFC fights, his MMA fights.
Eddie Kingston cut a good promo tonight. Yes, he did. WWE will not open the forbidden door. I agree with you, Gerard. Steph, when will the forbidden door be closed?
Oh my God, Gerard. Yo, my God.
He's been all on it, right?
These questions, bro. When would the forbidden door be closed? I think if companies are smart, they play ball with each other. I think that's the best thing for fans right now. If you are smart, you don't close yourself off. I feel like WWE is the one company that you could possibly do that with, and I will make.
I was about to say, because how does it help?
I would say WWE one is the only company that should be doing that. Like, hey, we're self-sufficient on our own. We really don't need to do business with anybody else and play ball with anybody else if we don't want to. You know what I mean?
Why would they? How does it help WWE? Some
I mean,
business-wise, how does it help WWE?
I would like, and I will say in a perfect world, right? You know how people say in a perfect world? In a perfect world, I'd like to see a tournament held between the top companies in the US and see like the most and that's a booker's nightmare because which promotion is going over, you know what I mean? And Vince ain't gonna have his guys lose, so that's why he's like, I'd rather keep my shit over here and y'all do what the fuck y'all doing over here. You know what I mean? And I'm cursing excessively for Chris because he cannot curse tonight. So if you're wondering how many F-bombs I've dropped, I'm dropping them for him. So whoever says he curses too much, it's me tonight. It's me. We've traded personalities for just the evening. But I don't
really curse, but Paul White pissed me the fuck off.
There we go. He's back. He's back.
We'll play that in a second. WWE, hold up. Stuff. Well, okay. What if Jericho returns to WWE, faces Roman, beats Roman, book events? It's not happening, so I'm not even going to address that.
I would be interested in the match. I'm not going to say you're completely stupid, Elvis, but I will say that if that match was ever to happen, Chris Jericho would lose after a very good fight. He may even hit the Judas effects.
Do you guys think Santana Garrett and Lana will debut at All Out? I don't think Santana Garrett will. I actually don't see her going to AEW, period. Lana, yes, that's a given. I would not do it so much at All Out. They're trying to figure out the best way to bring her out. So I don't expect it at All Out.
Not excited.
Philip Castro says, Anthony Chabot, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Anthony Chabot. Gerard says, unpopular review by October. You guys will reach 1,000 subs. I hope.
Bro, start having your friends
have not subscribe to us on YouTube, please go ahead and do that. Unpopular Review YouTube. Already subscribe to us on YouTube and Facebook. Let's be real with you. Hashtags thing. Thanks, bros, for switching personalities tonight. I'm a new subscriber. It's good to see you. And thank you so much for subscribing to us here at Unpopular Review. In my opinion, and I know I'm a little biased, but I watch a lot of wrestling podcasts and a lot of wrestling review shows, and I still think we are one of the best ones out there. I don't understand how some of them have more people watch than us. It doesn't make sense. That's just me being completely out there. But anyway, let's get back into it. AEW Dynamite. Next thing we're going to talk about is none other than Brian Cage versus Powerhouse Hobbs for the 16th time. Brian Cage takes the loss to Powerhouse Hobbs due mostly to Ricky Stark's interference. Yeah, it was what it was. I mean, that's all I can say about this. It was what it was. I think Ricky Starks is a star in the making in AEW. Powerhouse Hobbs has a look. Brian Cage has a look, but neither one of them are going anywhere in any company. Your thoughts when it comes to these three individual stuff?
I will say Ricky Starks. I'm going to focus on Ricky Starks with this kind of piece that I'm going to talk about. And Ricky Starks was a star in NWA. And if you guys are familiar with his work in NWA, he the ladies call him Stroke Daddy and the men call him Absolute. And I feel like he's bringing that character to AEW. He is bringing all of his charms, all of his abilities in the ring. He is on his way to superstardom. And now you put a title on him that's not really – I'm not sure if AEW recognizes the title he's holding currently as a title. It's kind of iffy. And I believe it's a Taz thing, a backstage Taz.
Like the $1 million championship.
Exactly. So I want to see him get actual championship gold. I want to see him in like versus Miro. I want to see him even particularly being the AEW champion. I feel like he could. I feel like he has enough charisma. He has enough superstardom to actually hold down that championship and for it to be a believable championship reign. He has all the skills in the world. Powerhouse Hobbs, take nothing away from Powerhouse Hobbs. he is a factor in any match that he's in. Brian Cage, same difference. But I feel like wrestling is about character work. Wrestling is also about storytelling. How much of a story, and I'm sorry to say it because these guys are so much more athletic than I am and gifted than I am, but what story have they truly told in the ring? What story was told tonight? If it wasn't for Ricky Starks, remove Ricky Starks from the picture, what story were they telling? It's just two huge hunks of meat. That was it. So at the end of the day, I'm entertained by Brian Cage when he wrecks somebody's shit, and I'm looking forward to him wrecking Ricky Starks. But at the end of the day, that's all you do. Like you're Braun Strowman. Wreck somebody and get the fuck out of there. You're not one of those people that I'm looking for storylines from. You know what I mean? And if you do have a really good storyline, great on you. But you're not somebody I'm really looking for storylines from.
Can't say I disagree with you. Next thing I want to talk about is Tay Conti versus Penelope Ford. Now, Tay Conti, I used to have really liked in NXT. And it's so interesting seeing her maturation in the ring. I think she's turned into a tremendous talent. I think AEW is the best place for her. And I'm saying this, once again, it's going to sound like a hater. I'm not trying to be a hater. It's a better place for her than Raw and SmackDown. And what I mean by that is she did very well in this match with with Penelope Ford in there. Penelope Ford is a good talent as well. But I did not see somebody that I will say, okay, it's believable for her to be in the ring with Charlotte Flair. It's believable for her to be in the ring with Shayna Baszler. It's believable for her to be in the ring with Sasha Banks. It's believable for her to be in the ring with Bianca Belair. But she did a good job against Penelope Ford, and I'm glad to see her. She looked like she's happy. She looked like she's trying to improve. Much power to her. She picked up the victory over Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford and the Bunny attacked. After that, they attacked her, and then she gets a little bit of help from Jay. It looks like that might be a match coming up in the future. What are your thoughts when it comes to any of these four young ladies?
Penelope Ford, I have the hugest crush on her. I know she's married. I got a thing. She's one of the wives, Chris, and she's an amazing talent. Tay Conti, like you said, has matured so much in the ring, and seeing these two perform, I think you could tell the maturation of both of them within the ring, and the more matches they have, the better they're going to get. You said something about Tay Conti not, being able to be in the ring with Sasha Banks or Bianca Belair and people in WWE's main roster. And I agree, because she still needs to be more seasoned. And, some superstars leave WWE. Let's look at Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was floundering for a while. He left WWE, came back, and he is literally as much the chosen one as he is the Scottish psychopath. He is amazing. So sometimes it's just taking yourself out of a certain situation for a bit and then coming back to it later and saying, all right, well, here I am. This is what I have to offer now after going up and down the roads and getting my craft together. And she's doing that. Her matches are smooth. She's amazing in the ring, and her dance partner, amazing. And I'm crushing right now imagining Penelope Ford. So let's just go. Let's go. Move on from this segment.
Well, Tessa Blanchard shows up at All Out. Steph will mark out. That's a possibility. Don't get me wrong. I think Tessa Blanchard has a very good chance of showing up at All Out, but we'll see. I think Ruby Riott.
I want her to go to WWE. I'm sorry. I think
she'd be better
feel like
to be here.
Big fish, small pond. I just feel like if she's going to AEW, it is a passion project. It is like, okay, well, I want control of my character, my gimmick. I don't want Vince or creative telling me what to do. And there's thousands of stories about that. And if she wants that creative freedom, then definitely go to AEW. But where are you going to stack up in their women's division? They're not going to shoot you to the top of the title scene. So you're going to be floundering. At least in WWE, even if they put your ass in NXT, you have a better chance of maturing up to main roster call-up. And then once you get on that main roster, look at my God, the Nightmare, Rhea Ripley. Look at her. Literally NXT women's champion, gets to the main roster. After a little bit on the main roster, Raw Women's Champion. So there's things to be said about people that they're
stacked by Nia Jax on Monday Night Raw.
Damn. I don't know what that look means. I'm not trying to fight.
She deserved it. She deserved it. That's
your ongoing feud with the Nightmare is gonna end in one way: her putting you in a submission. And I pray to the wrestling gods that I am there when she does it, because she's gonna beat your ass. You keep poking the bear with with her, man. Like, just stop.
You don't want that work.
Huh?
Rhea Ripley don't want that work. We already had this conversation. She knows.
Rhea, if you're watching, I'm a huge fan of yours.
When she ran away from me, right? She don't want that work.
I'm sorry. I'm a huge fan of yours. If you're ever watching this show, just know I'm Team Nightmare. Beat his ass, please. All right, Jared says, Chris and Stefan, AEW doesn't have a good record with big men, i.e. Brian Cage, Lance Archer, Wardlow, Luchasaurus. You are goddamn right about that. I am so sorry. They had a direction they were going with MJF and one of the men you mentioned. Go back to that, Wardlow. And they were going in a certain direction, and they were teasing a breakup between the two of them. And it was probably the most excited that I have been for a feud, because I wanted MJF to get his comeuppance so much, and they killed that dead because of a cage match that Wardlow had. I believe it was against Cody. So it just, I don't know. Jared also says Anna Jay returning could have been booked better by Anna Jay grabbing the mic and announcing her entry into the Casino Battle Royale. There has to be surprises in that Casino Battle Royale. And obviously, like people mentioned, Tessa Blanchard. You know, Tessa Blanchard, you mentioned other female wrestlers as well.
Ruby Riott
as well. Ruby Soho, or is that what she's going by now? Ruby Soho.
I'll be calling her Ruby Riott for a year.
Of course. Jared also says, I believe Anna Jay is 100%, but her showing up means she's been cleared but limited. Tessa Blanchard is way hotter than Jade Cargill. You are fucking trolling. You are obviously trolling Chris right now. Chris will acknowledge
that is strike 3. Good job, Elvis. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a small commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the main event of AEW Dynamite, as well as some hot news that we heard about for the rest of from earlier this week. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. Watching Unpopular View. 30 seconds. We'll be right back. Well, 1 minute. We'll be right back. For the first time I saw his vest today, it said no more BS. I said, motherfucker, please. Like, if I go to the grocery store and I say, hey, do you know Paul White? People say, who's that, your neighbor? No. But if I say, do you know Big Show? They're going to know who I'm talking about. What the fuck you mean? No more BS. You act like WWE didn't make you a fucking star.
This motherfucker, when the Hall of Fame comes calling, like, he ain't going to be crying like Big Show inducted, and he's going to be like, oh, thank you, Vince. Oh, my God.
Big Show is a known wrestler because of WWE. What the fuck you mean? Mother effer, you had a Netflix show that was called Go Big Show or some shit like that. The Big Show show. Like, let's say Paul White show. That shit would have got him. Like, yeah, right. He was known as the Giant, and people started shitting on Big Show when he first went to WWE. Like, Big Show, that's a terrible name. That's a terrible name. A couple years into it, he was known as Big Show. Then they started trying to call him the Giant again. But everybody still called him the Big Show. Why? Because, well, it's the Big Show. Like, come on. I don't understand.
Oh, shit. Chris, you on one tonight, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Unpopular Review, AEW Dynamite Edition. Executive Consulting here along with Steph. Please make sure that you have not done so already. Like, love, share, subscribe to us here at Unpopular Review on YouTube and UPRE on YouTube. Where UPRE is, of course, our sister channel. We talk about movies and television shows. Matter of fact, right now they're actually on UPRE. They're actually reviewing MTV's The Challenge. So you want to watch that, want to give that a watch, and What If it's coming out, but we'll talk more about that when it comes to Plus. Speaking of Paul White, speaking of The Big Show, he had a segment earlier, The Nightmare Factory, and led by QT Marshall in the ring, a la where jobbers and we don't get interest music, was in the ring after a break. Paul White comes out, clears the ring of everybody. Out comes the Gun Club. I'm like, wow, they Big Show had cleared everybody. Y'all kind of late. Billy Gunn turns on Big Show by hitting with a chair, beats his ass with the chair by hitting him in the head with it, and then QT Marshall in the Nightmare Factory comes back out and beats up Big Show some more, hitting with the Diamond Cutter. QT Marshall set up for his match with Paul White on Sunday. Your thoughts when it comes to this segment overall?
I'm going to use the word motherfucker excessively during this segment. So motherfucking Paul White got Big Showed. Big Show betrays freaking every fucking body. He turns, and the Gun Club hitting that big motherfucker with a chair was probably the most hilarious thing that I saw besides a woman's umbrella fly out of her hand at the 2 train station here in New York. This was fucking hilarious, and obviously it was comeuppance for all of those fucking years that motherfucker Big Show would turn his back on people. John Cena, Everybody, like the flips, the turns left and right. Like he turned more times than a freaking car at a racetrack. So for me, this was ultimate extreme comeuppance. So AEW, thank you. Thank you so much from an intelligent wrestling fan who has followed Big Show's motherfucking career since the motherfucking start of it. Thank you for giving the big motherfucker his motherfucking comeuppance and making the Gun Club relevant. Gosh, just thank you.
I'm interested to see what happens next. I have to figure out the logic behind that. I didn't understand it. You make it make sense. You made it make sense, but I'm interested to see what happened. Tall Paul sold it well. He did. We'll talk about it. Main event of the night was the Lucha Brothers and the Elite. I'm sorry, Lucha Brothers and Jurassic Express versus the Elite, which is the Young Sucks as well as the Good Brothers. Let's just be real. The Elite won. Kenny Omega came out with along with Christian, and they beat up Christian and the Lucha Brothers, who all challenging for those titles on Sunday, lowered the cage, and then they spent the whole time selling the fact there's a cage match on Sunday because people were trying to climb in the ring, and for some reason, they didn't see that they were defending the cage by spraying people and hitting them with chairs. I didn't understand the segment, but I knew what it was trying to do. It was a better main event than last week. Your thoughts when it comes to this main event? Your thoughts when it comes to the Elite as a group total, along with the Lucha Brothers and the Jurassic Express. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I got to find a really great way to describe this. It's like when you get a new car and your car runs perfectly and you love your car and then you get a fucking flat tire and then there are other problems that start happening with your car. That's how I would describe the goddamn Elite at this point. There are so many problems with it. They're all out there trying to have fun. There's really no seriousness to these gimmicks at this point. And it takes away from them being a heel faction. When they came out as fucking basketball players, that was when I was done with the Elite. I'm like, I'm not gonna. I am all for comedic wrestling. I am all for fun and everything like that. But if you're supposed to be a monster fucking heel, do not put on a pair of shorts and promote Space Jam. It is not that type of fucking party. What the fuck are you doing, Kenny? Do you see Roman Reigns show up in a jumpsuit and shoot 3-pointers over people's heads? Absolutely fucking not. Do you see any other world champion do that? Absolutely fucking not. So for me to be a fan watching it, and I'm supposed to be, this guy is a super, super heel, and he's going to kill Christian on Sunday. I think Christian's going to take him out. At this point, that's what I think. I think Christian is going to come and take the belt off of him. That's what you're leading me to believe with all the bullshit that you're doing. Lucha Bros, same difference with the Young Bucks. They're going to get in there on Sunday with the Young Bucks, and what's going to happen? Same difference. The Young Bucks are corny, and I'm sorry to say, I'm going to call out the tribal chief and his family because I guess I have to. So look at the Usos. Can the Usos play comedic characters? Yes, they can. Can they be funny? They had that back and forth with New Day, that rap battle that they had a few years ago. That was funny, but there were clear defined roles in that. At the same time, guess what? After the segment, Usos beat the New Day's ass. So guess what? It just, to me, there's a level of seriousness that your champions are supposed to have, especially going into a very serious pay-per-view like All Out. All Out can, like, Tony Khan has bigged this pay-per-view up as the game changer. You think CM Punk was something, just wait till we get to All Out. Now we're getting to All Out. This is a go-home show.
Well, they're going to have Daniel Bryan probably All Out, so that's what he's talking about. Daniel Bryan is arguably bigger than CM Punk.
Even if you got Daniel Bryan, and you got Daniel Bryan in your canon, and you got Tessa Blanchard, and you got Ruby Riott, and you got all these amazing wrestlers, your go-home show is what's selling people on your pay-per-view on Sunday. It is what is getting asses in seats and pay-per-view buys. If your main event makes no fucking sense, this is the executive consultant. This is excellence, self-proclaimed. This is the person that is the Nostradamus of wrestling. I'm not trying to give him more credit, but if this guy says, I can't figure out your main event and what the segment, it was convoluted as fuck. I didn't get it.
Cage.
Exactly. I see what you're trying to do. Steel cage. Ooh. Come on, guys.
They're trying to sell the fact that the match is a steel cage right now and to show you because the cage is there to protect the wrestlers from the Elite. So they're trying to show how you can keep the wrestlers out of the cage. Now, we all know, because unfortunately the cage match is one of the oldest matches now, that the cage does not keep anybody out. Right? It just doesn't do it. So it doesn't make sense. But I completely agree with you on that, but I mean, it is what it is. Don't be shocked that Tony Khan signs Danny Cartesi and Willa Yuta to full-time contracts. It's probably true. The Lucha Brothers will turn on Pac and join Andrade going forward. I completely agree with you. They need to do that.
I see that.
Chris Stefan, don't be shocked we already said that. AEW needs a female who's good on the mic to match Baker's veracity. I agree with that. Charmaine agrees with you. Braun Strowman is the rumor is he's signing with Impact. I know he's signing with either Impact or AEW. That is true.
He actually has a match against EC3. He actually has a match against EC3 next month, I believe, in October.
Crazy. That's an indie thing. It's not
that's EC3.
Do you guys believe Buddy Murphy will pit stop in Impact but end up at AEW down the line? I think he will show up on an AEW, but I think Impact Wrestling is where he's going to sign. I think Impact Wrestling is the best place for him because I think he can actually be a main eventer at Impact Wrestling where AEW he will get lost. So I think that's the best place for him. But we'll address that on a heartbeat as well because I do want to talk a little bit about Buddy Murphy as well as some other things that they actually announced in the news segment. We're pretty much finished AEW Dynamite. Hey, pretty good episode tonight. Looking forward to Rampage. We'll talk about it along with our AEW All-Out predictions coming up in another episode later down this week. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take the last commercial break. We'll talk about a little bit of news, and we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for watching us. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Years-wise, how many did Punk have? He had a good 4, right? Good 4? Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I would say 3.5.
Okay. And
Roman's been the top guy in WWE for 5 years.
Okay.
So like the top guy. Like
Punk
I
was
know the guy in fans, but he wasn't the guy in the company. Cena still was.
Listen, this is fans' throat. This is Roman.
First of all, that's the Punk. That's
is this some more Roman? Is this some more Roman?
No, that bullshit is gonna go. I'm gonna put myself in full mode right now because I'm gonna say it again. Any wrestler who's ever been number one in the company's eyes have been shoved down your throats like the peacock. And I love saying cock. And I don't mean in a broke back way.
Is he finished?
I'm done and I'm
okay, good, because we got some more Roman. Let's shove this down your throat some more too. Oh, look at this. 5th year in a row, some more Roman.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us here on Popular Review AEW Dynamite Edition. This is the Executive Consultant along with Steph. Please make sure you like, love, and share, and subscribe to us on Popular Review YouTube, UPRE on YouTube. What you just saw was Around the Blocks with Mike Knox. Join us every Monday, 6:00 p.m. for that episode with him as well as Mike.
I got to get on with Mike. That made me laugh. I enjoyed that little clip so much. If you guys are intelligent wrestling fans, please watch Mike Knox. You are going to learn something. You are going to laugh your ass off. He is a character, and his show is amazing. So
I miss AEW. I'm watching my best host. Do you think that Brian Downson would use his old music when he was at ROH? Yes, but I can also, if he's smart, just like CM Punk, he used that music he used in WWE because they don't own that. You skipped over the second with Jay Cargill. I did not. I just didn't feel like discussing it. But Jay Cargill and Nyla Rose beat up Tessa Blanchard in the back because they all trying to throw in their hat for what it needs to be thrown in for. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a couple news segments we want to talk about before we end up this show. First thing we'll talk about is not just AEW at this point; it's every single wrestling event because I usually do it Fridays, but not Fridays anymore. First thing we're going to talk biggest news as far as I'm concerned is Fightful is reporting. It's just rumors until WWE says it. I don't necessarily say it's happening. WWE is going forward this year with WrestleMania or next year WrestleMania being 2 nights instead of 1. Steph, I remember the Unpopular Review as a unit talked about this earlier this year. You were not a part of us at that time. You're back with us. Thank you so much for joining us again. Do you think that WrestleMania should be 1 night or WrestleMania should be 2 nights? Your thoughts?
I feel like if you're trying to reach more fans, that 2 nights is something that you could reach more fans and get more asses in seats and get more money. And WWE's never thinking in a not financial way, so to speak. But if you want to keep that essence of the original WrestleMania, that 1 night, that special night that WrestleMania is, and putting together a super card of events that kind of caps off our wrestling year, then you keep it 1 night. Let it be special, and I feel like you said this in our, pulling back the curtain a little bit. You said in our group chat earlier, you feel like it's excessive, it being 2 nights. But if you're thinking from a financial standpoint, which WWE, Nick Khan and Vince are always thinking from, you're thinking, all right, how many asses can we possibly get in seats over these 2 nights? How many tickets can we sell? How many shirts can we sell? How much merch can we get out the door with these fans coming into the venues? And also, how many pay-per-view buys can we get in terms of, or Peacock subscriptions can we get during this period of time? So it basically, in my mind, it's too much, but in a very economic, financially sound, stable kind of mind, I can see why they're doing it. You know what I mean? WWE is definitely not drowning for money, but at the same time, having more money is never a bad fucking thing.
I usually talk about stuff from a business aspect, and the business aspect is just always go down to this. I prefer personally one night as opposed to two. I think one night, you give me everything one night, I feel like I got my money's worth, as opposed to if you give me 2 nights, then I gotta get my money's worth for this night, I gotta get my money's worth for this night, so you're stretching it out. They did a good job with WrestleMania 37 with that, but at the same time, 2 nights is just a bit much. One night I want to do something else, whether it be a Hall of Fame, whether it be NXT, or whether it just be going out. I'd rather just do that as opposed to going to WrestleMania this night for 4 hours and then this night for 4 hours. But it's WWE from a business aspect. Are you making more money by selling 70,000 tickets times 2 or 100,000 tickets times 1? That's what you got to think about. And that's what the story is. And from a business aspect, I don't agree with it, but whatever. Elvis says WrestleMania the last 2 years have had 14 more matches, so 2 nights need. Otherwise, matches we should be short because nobody will stay focused on the product for 7 hours straight.
I feel like that's what go-home shows are for. If you're trying to lessen your card at WrestleMania, then you use go-home shows, both SmackDown and Raw, to put some matches on those shows that you otherwise do not want on your WrestleMania card. So say, for instance, tag team matches that you can't have on your WrestleMania card. Obviously, you're going to have big money matches on there, and you're going to have some mid-card titles on there, but you don't have to have everything on there. I do not need to see the 24/7 championship fucking defended on WrestleMania. That is not something I want to go there and see. Do I need to see my women's championships defended at WrestleMania? Hell fucking yes. Do I need to see my main tier championships defended at WrestleMania? Yes, I do. Do I need to see the NXT title defended at WrestleMania? Hell fucking no. That's no. And I'm sorry, all respect to Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Once again, huge fan, Rhea. But the fact of the matter is, did that need to be held at WrestleMania?
No, but they saw a big feature in Rhea Ripley. I don't know why. Anyway, next thing we'll talk about is Buddy Murphy. We just mentioned him earlier. Impact Wrestling, AEW, or go back to WWE. What would you do if you're Buddy Murphy?
I feel like once you leave WWE, and mind you, he's been one of the smarter ones that hasn't really scorched earth with WWE. I feel like, because usually
he did the chain thing.
He did the chain thing, which obviously it's theatrics. I feel like at this point, but I don't think there's a lot of disrespect there. Like Cody destroying the chair, that's definitely burning a bridge with Triple H and people in the back at WWE. But I think Buddy Murphy has been one of those people that have been kind of relatively quiet since his departure at WWE. So that door is probably still always open for him. But like I said earlier about Tay Conti, go outside, hone your talent, hone your skills, and then come back as a refined wrestling talent. You want to prove to WWE you're a main event, go out there and win main event championships. You know what I mean? You want to prove WWE wrong, you go out there and you do it. You'll get their eye somehow, some way. One of the talent scouts will be like, yo, Buddy out there doing work. You know what I mean? So that's the best way you do it. You keep it quiet. You a la Drew McIntyre, you just do your thing and then you come back. Not everybody's going to be the chosen one, but there's a lot of people out there that need to step away from WWE, that huge stage, come back to a smaller stage, refine their talents, and then freaking come back stronger and better than ever. Whether come back through the NXT system, I'm not sure how that's going to be given the rebrands, or come to the main roster, start as a lower tier talent, and work your way back up. Because obviously talent scouts are watching everything. They're watching champions in other companies. They're waiting for contracts to expire. So WWE, as much as we've heard that they're not getting indie talents, I think that would be an astronomically stupid idea to not take in indie talents when most of their top tier stars were indie talents or are indie talents. Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, to name a few of their top tier talents. But yeah, just in a nutshell, I think refine your talents elsewhere, come back stronger than ever. Do I see him coming back in the next 5 years? Probably not. It's going to take a little bit, but it's possible.
The controversy surrounding Buddy Murphy this week is what we're really going to talk about and focus on. He sent out this tweet. He later deleted it. It's here. It's a free agent now. Unfortunately, he had to delete it and apologize because some people said it was offensive towards African Americans. Let's put it back up here because it's stating that he's free from slavery.
Oh man, I am a proud African American. I am all for racial equality. I am all for people acknowledging and really realizing that some stuff is just racially insensitive. I think when you get into the realm of pro wrestling, though, there's racism everywhere. Let's just be first and foremost. I don't want to go into kind of a larger conversation. I had a really great conversation in class today, so I don't want to spill into what I cover in my classes, but I will say that sometimes it is not racially charged, and we have to realize the difference between a racially charged statement or depiction and something that is, I'm freeing myself. Buddy Murphy has been on the bench for 90 days. He literally said, I'm free, the chains are off, I'm ready to rock and roll, I'm a free agent. Me seeing that image for the first time, it did not, maybe if the hands were white, it would have been a difference. You know what I mean? That's the only kind of thing, like the black hands, that's what you guys are saying, but if the hands were white, would it have changed the image? Would it have been like, oh, well, this is a slavery thing? What would it have been if you just changed the color? I think sometimes things are read too much into, and I will not sit here and say that every single thing is a racist slur or a racist kind of, has a racist connotation behind it. And I'm very aware of kind of things that do, and we look out for them in pro wrestling because we call them out. And they are small injustices. I don't want to bring up Triple H versus freaking Booker T all those years ago. Very racially charged, very extreme. One of the most extreme situations that you could say. WWE definitely puts their hat down when it comes to that. And other situations as well, but not this one particularly. I can't get on board with that. Chris, how do you feel about it, brother? I don't know.
I saw that tweet earlier when he tweeted it. And I was like, okay, he's a free agent now. He can just go to TNA or AEW or MLW or something like that. Then I saw a tweet earlier. I don't follow any wrestlers. I personally, on Popular Review, yeah, but I don't follow any wrestlers. So when some of my people who follow me like it, I see it. And then I saw a tweet somebody liked earlier when he was like, I want to apologize for my comments. They didn't mean to offend anybody. I was like, what comments he talking about? I didn't know. So I started looking. I was like, I couldn't find it. Of course, he deleted it. And then somebody, I saw somebody talk about it, and then they posted what it was. I was like, I saw this. The thought never crossed my mind. And it just bothers me that people did. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The hands are kind of dark, but I don't think they represent African American. It's a sunny background. It's more of a shadowy thing, in my opinion. And it was very obvious what he was saying. So the fact he had to apologize for something, and it's like, and I know we're in the culture that we are in right now. I know we're in the era that we're in right now. But some things we have to understand. We have to let go. Like now, that man got ridiculed and called all types of names for something. And you have every right to feel how you feel. But at the same time, just understand that not everything is meant to be offensive. And the fact he had to come back and apologize for something that I guarantee never even crossed his mind.
I want to say this, and I want to challenge all of the people that are watching. Look at the shit you post online. There are so many racially insensitive videos that you post because you think it's haha funny. And imagine every time you posted someone posted something, someone followed behind you and said, you need to apologize for that. Even if it was racially motivated or not racially motivated. You know what I mean? How many times would you have to apologize in a day? Because these things are an addiction. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you're posting, you're tagging yourself and things like that. Sometimes you're looking too deep into a situation. And I understand why people could have that misunderstanding. But to have a whole man that's had 90 days of his professional career stopped, then have to stop again and apologize and say, hey, I'm sorry for offending y'all. I didn't mean to. It would be as simple as, hey, Mr. Murphy, what did you mean by this? And I'm sure it could have came down to a simple explanation. I'm free. 90 days in the freaking cage. Like, I'm out. Like, would you have liked him to use a caged lion or a caged animal? Would it have made the situation better? We are proud black men. We are not going to stand for racism in any kind of arena. But this wasn't it. Like, I just saw the image and I'm like, first thing that hit me is free agent. Not
that's the first thing. They even crossed my mind.
African American slave. Like, come on, guys. Like, we got to get better as wrestling fans. We got to get better as people to realize that there are some things that are racially motivated and aim to harm people. And this guy's an entertainer. He is an amazing wrestler and just wants to do that. And he wants to live his life. He wants to professionally wrestle. If you think he's racist for posting a picture that's shadowy hands, then maybe it's not him who has the problem, but you. And
I'm really excited to see what he's going to possibly do in AEW. I think he's going to do big things in AEW. The final thing I want to talk about, and I'll actually highlight this comment. I'm ignoring a few of his other ones. But anyway, the final thing I want to talk about is actually I'm going to post in a video to give you the headline.
But you can't do this to me. I started this company. You know how much I sacrificed?
The big news is that apparently, from the rumors, is Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard are going to take over NXT, and Triple H's role is going to be diminished. I know a lot of people, including our very own Ultimate Fan, Patrick the Full Nelson, was very upset about this news, stating that now NXT is going to go downhill. It's the best wrestling program on TV each week, and now it's going to go downhill, as well as Triple H should probably leave. Your thoughts, your opinions when it comes to NXT possibly being taken over by the big boss?
First off, Triple H ain't going nowhere. That's first and foremost. Let's just get that out the way. Ultimate Fan, I do not agree with him looking right down the camera. I don't agree with you. Secondly, I think that Vince and Bruce Pritchard stepping in to kind of elevate it. You mentioned this before. NXT failed at the Wednesday Night Wars. That was Triple H's moment. No matter what Triple H did before with NXT, how great takeovers were, how many great superstars he got, how many indie people he got in the ring for us to cheer. It didn't matter to Vince. Vince gave him one simple task, and that was destroy AEW. We are saying we don't care about them, but that does not mean do under 1 million views. You switch to USA Network, which is a huge network from WWE Network when you could have left it on Peacock. You come to main cable TV. People were mad about NXT, and by people, I mean the people in the back. I mean funders and people like that are like, yo, this show is kind of iffy. You know what I mean? And then week after week, we saw AEW topple NXT in the ratings. So Vince stepping in to kind of make changes, it makes sense because Vince does that. Vince stepped onto Raw Monday and said, fuck this script. Goodbye. You know what I mean? And if he feels like something is not going to work, he's going to change it. And I think that, Chris, you could speak to being one of the heads of UPR. If something's not working, you got to go back to the drawing board, even if it means kind of ripping up the script a little bit and just throwing it away and then doing something different. You know what I mean? And we've had those things happen here. So I feel as though it's a fresh start for NXT. You got that new music by Wale, that new visual that you put out on Friday night. People are kind of eager to see what's going to happen later this month with NXT. I would say, like everything else in professional wrestling, give it a chance. Give it a chance before you make a huge opinion like it's going to go downhill or it's going to fucking suck. I think that it might be wise of you to not freaking sit here and prejudge something. And maybe Triple H doesn't have much of a deciding factor in the new NXT. Maybe he's a consultant because he knows how to run NXT. He's done it for so many years. But that does not mean that Triple H is not going to get back in the ring. People have been dying to see Triple H get back into the ring and actually, and actually do, wrestling and be a professional wrestler. He's kind of in a soft retirement right now. So it would be good to see him get back into the wrestling ring and actually put over some people. At least I think so. But as far as NXT is concerned, has Triple H done a great job in NXT? Yes, he has. Hats off to Triple H and everything he's done over the past couple of years with NXT, with takeovers, with anything that they put on, because it's amazing. But when you're in a ratings war and the competition is winning, Vince views everybody's competition, even if he says he doesn't. He's not sleeping on anybody because that pillow is where your head will lie. So at the end of the day, let's see what Vince has and what Bruce Pritchard has. Bruce Pritchard is one of the most creative minds ever, and we'll see where they go with it. We never know what's going to happen, and Triple H is not leaving WWE. Like I've seen these posts. Triple H, AEW confirmed. Why the fuck would he go there? Like the first pay-per-view disrespected him directly. It was a complete shot at him as a backstage personality, as a professional wrestler. Like literally, Cody shitted on him. His first walkout. Why the fuck would I go to the company that has built their cornerstone on disrespecting me, even with BTE? Like, how many times they made fun of Triple H? Come on, guys. Come on.
Completely agree. And I'm going to comment on Triple H leaving. That's just absurd. But I said this numerous times. I'll say it again. I mean, people need to stop looking at it from a fan perspective and look at it from a business perspective. The internet wrestling community are really strong. They're very loud. They're very vocal, but they're not the ones that are putting money in most of these companies' pockets. You know, they do a decent job for AEW, but WWE is not just us, not just the internet wrestling community. And yeah, NXT I thought was very entertaining on the Triple H's watch. Very entertaining. But it wasn't making any money. They weren't generating any views. Even on YouTube alone, wasn't generating the views. Like every time on Raw and SmackDown, the main event segment is something else usually generates over 1 million views on YouTube in a matter of days. NXT get lucky to crack 6 digits.
And Chris, even think about NXT's UK brand as well. Like we're just talking about the US brand of NXT. We're not even touching NXT UK or any of the other NXTs that they're trying to form. NXT India, NXT Japan. You know what I mean? And these things that they're trying to create. So we're talking about the main brand. If there's a problem with Raw, then that's going to shine through to SmackDown as well. And that's Vince's mentality. If there's a crack in the shield in our main flagship show, then all the other ones are going to fall apart because it's kind of the same system organizationally.
You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Exactly. So that's why, you know, like we could talk about Ilja Dragunov winning the NXT UK championship from Walter, ending a historic title reign. But when you go back to the root of it, how many of you actually watched NXT UK? How many of you actually knew who Dragunov was when he was versing up against Walter? How many of you knew who Walter was or Kaylee Ray when she showed up at TakeOver? Like
you're making it make sense. And you know, I love that because the bottom line is when somebody goes from Raw to SmackDown, they're known. When somebody goes to SmackDown to Raw, they're known. They try to make NXT the third brand. They mention it on TV. But when a lot of wrestlers come up from NXT to Raw, SmackDown, shout out Aleister Black, shout out Ricochet, they're more popular now. But when they were on Raw and SmackDown first, they weren't getting those cheers like that. They weren't getting cheer like that. NXT did that one SmackDown they were on for Survivor Series. They did get a lot of good cheers because there were a lot of fans in there. But on a casual wrestling fan, they look at these people like, I don't know who you are, and I don't watch your show.
Exactly.
And they don't translate well from NXT to Raw or SmackDown. So he still let Triple H for years get away with that crap. But after a while, he's like, look, you were on Tuesdays against AEW. You were getting 500, 600,000 views. You're now on Tuesdays. You're getting close. You're getting like around 700,000 views, but you still can't even break 1 million. Let's try something different. I gave you some years. I gave you 2 years on USA Network. Now let's try something different to see if it works. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
SmackDown just got 2.8 million. Then I think they went down. 2.8 million on SmackDown. Raw the other night got 1.9 million. NXT 700 and some 80,000 maybe or something like that. What is wrong with trying something new? Let's try something new. Why keep this way if it stays stagnant? And I never understand that. Am I interested? Yes. Am I happy about it? No, I'm not necessarily happy about it because I like the way Triple H ran things. But at the same time, NXT has been boring to me for some months now.
I think when you got rid of top tier talent like your Shayna Baszlers, when you're getting rid of your Rhea Ripleys, when you're getting rid of your Matt Riddles, when you're getting rid of all these superstars and putting them into the main roster, and mind you, like full credit to all the people that are on the main roster from NXT. Most of them are doing good. I'm sorry about that, Ricochet. Honestly, I don't know what the hell they're doing with Ricochet, but the fact of the matter is, like you said, they do not translate as well. People will bring up in this argument Drew McIntyre. They'll be like, oh, well, look at Drew McIntyre. McIntyre is a former WWE superstar who left the company and had to come back to had to come back to the NXT system and come to
not there long. He wasn't there long.
He was there for a hot cup of coffee. But that introduced us to Adam Cole. That introduced us to Undisputed Era. Remember that. He literally on his way out kind of made Undisputed Era, like with his departure from NXT. So for me, I think there's a lot of things. Elvis says that, Steph, you are well-spoken on racial equality. I believe you should run for office. My friend, you are educated and raised by a wonderful woman. Thank you, my mom.
I'll let you two talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen,
my political career is on hold. It's on hold. But
we're going to hold. This show is on hold. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and go to some plugs. Every single Monday night, you can join us for Sunday, 6 o'clock p.m. Around the Block. So Mike Knox and Z is silent. This is for the intelligent wrestling fan immediately after Monday Night Raw. Join myself and the full Nelson Patrick, the Ultimate Fan, as we talk to you about Raw. On Tuesdays, immediately after NXT, you can watch Captain Shakespeare as well as Bad Guy Jack as they talk to you about NXT. And also, if you're a fan of movies and TV, UPRE next Tuesday will be talking about and reviewing Disney's Mulan.
Oh, I gotta get on that. I gotta get on that.
So that should be pretty good. Then on Wednesdays, you're going to join us right back here as we do WWE. I'm sorry, not WWE. AEW Dynamite, which is usually starring Big Daddy Cool, Stephen Pena, and then next week he'll be joined by the technician David Sanderson. It's a big day for Wednesday as we also do What If episodes, which is on Marvel Disney Plus right now. That's starring Bad Guy Jack C. the Superior, as well as the Mark Victor Rodriguez. And also, immediately after MTV's The Challenge, join Mike Knox, as well as Captain Shakespeare, as they talk about MTV The Challenge, Spies, Lies, and Allies. On Thursdays, UPRE brings you their host pick, which this week is 1994's Street Fighter, which is the pick of none other than the executive consultant. And on Friday, immediately after SmackDown, we have Unpopular View SmackDown Results Edition, which is usually hosted by none other than Steph and his guest host. This week, however, it's going to be Captain Shakespeare as well as Bad Guy Jack. So stay forward to looking to that. And we also have an AEW All Out prediction show, which stay and subscribe to us on Instagram and Twitter, as we'll give you more information on what day and time that we will be talking about AEW All Out. Steph, you have any final thoughts that you want to talk about?
Final thoughts, guys. Like, love, subscribe to everything. We appreciate you for joining us. All of our new fans tonight, all the people watching for the first, second, third time. Please share this to all your wrestling fan pages. The only way we are going to get bigger, the only way we're going to reach more wrestling fans and have better conversations and better content is by you bringing people in. Please also take a chance to like our sister page, our sister channel rather, UPRE as well. And thank you guys for a very great night of comments, questions. We are wrestling fans at heart, so we do appreciate these conversations.
Speaking of our sister channel, I forgot other thing on Saturday night, we also review none other than the Amazon Prime show named Invincible.
Oh my
God. We're going by episode. So there's a lot of content we have here on our Unpopular Review channel as well as UPRE. Make sure you subscribe to us and you join and share in the conversation, because you leave a comment, we will definitely post it. We'll definitely share it. And we'll definitely talk about it, unless you're Elvis, who's always on time out. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us tonight. For Steph, I'm the executive consultant. You all have a wonderful night. We'll see you right here tomorrow for Unpopular Review. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, everyone.